Welcome back, Kaiju fans. Today we're going to be looking at some exciting first images for Godzilla 2 King of the Monsters. We have two images released to us today, one of them being Godzilla, one of them being two of the main characters. So let's just start out with the exciting one, which is Godzilla. Now, this is an interesting picture because it gives us kind of a glimpse at the small changes being made to the legendary 2014 design. As we can see in this, the main things that stood out to me initially were Godzilla's spines do appear to be bigger and more complex, closer reminiscing to Millennium-style spines in their architecture, and the pattern that lights up on them when the atomic breath is being discharged is being more focused here. Not just the spines glowing altogether with the hints that there's a pattern in there like we've seen in the past, but it does appear that it's only the pattern that's lighting up when he's using his atomic breath, so that's a different take on things. I can appreciate that. The second thing that stood out to me is the tail. The tail looks shorter, it looks bulkier, does not seem to extend quite the length that it did in 2014, have a very, very thin, fine tip to it. It looks like this is more something we've seen in the past where it's got mass and bulk to the entirety of it and it doesn't thin out a ton near the end. I hope you know what I'm talking about. If not, then if you just look at a picture of Godzilla 2014's tail, you'll see that it gets very thin near the end, and this one does not. It looks closer to the Millennium style tails that he's had in the past. Not really a change that it impacts me all that much, it's just something that I noticed. The thing that does kind of bother me right now is I hope it's just something that's caused by the stance that he's in, but he looks like he has some kind of weird beer belly going on. It honestly looks like he might have put on weight since the last film, which would be kind of interesting, considering one of the major complaints was that Godzilla was too fat, so if they made him fatter, then that would have been a step in the wrong direction for what a lot of fans would have liked to see. So let's hope that it's just the way that he's bent up like this that's making it look a little too revealing for his big ol' Zilla tummy, if you know what I mean. But obviously this is a picture of him blasting his atomic breath straight up into the sky. The practicality of that, probably none, because aiming at something directly above you is probably not the smartest idea, so we can assume that this is not necessarily a shot from the film, but just promotional. But the atomic breath does look different than it did in 2014. It looks a lot thicker, a lot fuller, more closely related to what we've seen in the past. Probably reminds me a lot of the 2002/2003 atomic breath. Not so much the weird wimpy flame cannon that he had in 2014, so this difference is pretty noticeable. Probably has to do with the quote-unquote power-up that Godzilla was getting. We'll have to see, unless the quote-unquote power-up was just the general description of him changing appearance with the bigger spines, the thicker tail, and, well, hopefully the fatness is not involved in that, because that's kind of annoying. But definitely a pretty cool picture. He's just standing in a body of water somewhere, we can presume an ocean near shoreline, as we do see landmass down in the bottom left corner. There's not really anything distinguishing where he may or may not be, because it's literally just some boulders and the nighttime sky with some fog rolling in, so we can't really determine where he is at all based off that, besides, hey, he's in some water somewhere. But, I mean, that's effective. It doesn't spoil anything too much, like location-wise, even though we probably already know all the locations being featured in the film based off of where they've been shooting, where the descriptions have been, all that kind of stuff. So, don't really know what they're going for, but it's a cool shot nonetheless. Now, the second picture is just two of the main characters of the film, as Vera and Millie Bobby Brown. They are just standing, probably, I presume, the Siberia base that King Ghidorah is locked up in, right? I'm remembering that correctly. They look like they just saw something fly away. Something very scary. Just based off the expressions on their face and the way that they're kind of both looking upwards into the sky. It's nighttime here. There is some fog rolling in, but obviously it's cold since they have very thick fur coats on. So we can presume this is probably the Siberia base or somewhere very cold. King Ghidorah probably just awakened for whatever reason. Not as interesting as the shot before. We can't really derive too much from that. It looks like there's some scientists standing in the background with either some kind of lab coats or just white winter coats on. And this could be It could be a ship with the way that the background looks and then the railing that they have. That's also my second guess. It definitely could be a ship, so either the base or a ship for this shot. But yeah, that's really it for the two pictures. Additional information we received was that the director always saw Rodan as kind of a sidekick, so he wanted to change this up because he is pretty close to being as powerful, if not more powerful than Godzilla, so we'll have to see what they do to Rodan to make him more powerful than Godzilla for this film. But Mike seems to have a strong affiliation and desire to make Rodan cool in this film, so I can appreciate that. Hopefully he can do something to make Mothra as cool as Rodan at this point, and hope that Mothra doesn't necessarily get left in the dust. Not getting any kind of changes to make it definitely more unique and new and effective at fighting. We'll have to see when time comes. But that's going to be it for this video, guys. Didn't really expect on making anything today, but this kind of came out. But I will catch you all at G-Fest tomorrow. Peace out. Thank you for making it to the end of the video. I appreciate it a lot. As always, liking, commenting, and sharing really helps out my channel. And make sure you're subscribed if you want to stay up to date on the latest kaiju news and crisp reviews.